Hi guys.
Hello.
Did you say hello?
No, I said hello, but close enough.
Close enough. I'm Jason.
This is Freya. I'm Amy.
And we're bringing you today's video. Welcome to 10 Minute Reviews. As always, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. We're a small family channel that just loves to talk about books. And we want to bring authors to you guys and new books, great books, fun stuff to read. So please like and subscribe. We'd appreciate all that support and any support that we can get. And today we're going to talk about book two in a book. Book two in a book. Book two in a series that I've already started talking about. I'm getting old, you know, the brain starts to decline, and so the brain has declined greatly. Book two, I already talked about book one before, so as always I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about the world, I'm going to talk about the plot, I'm going to talk about the world, I'm going to talk about the characters, then I'm going to talk about the plot, and then I'm going to talk about the writing style. So I want to talk about The Lost Reavers 2 by Mike Truk. So the world is a fantasy-ish world, Middle Ages. I almost said so many other things that follows middle, and for whatever reason, ages would come out of here. Got the branch manager right here. So yeah, it's a fantasy-ish, yeah, kind of. You've got your usual swords and barons and dukes and armies and bandits and such like that, but you definitely have magic and especially ghosts. Well, there's no cards in it. Well, there's probably cards in it because the main character likes to drink and gamble and womanize. Before he became somewhat more legitimate. He just does his womanizing in more legitimate ways now. But yeah, but there is some basic magic. There's also most of the Fae type of species, and that's what's really central with this particular book. So book one kind of established the character. Hugh is the main character, the brother to the younger brother, I believe, to the Duke of Stasik, I think it is. And Hugh basically kind of saved this town that he is in book one, and that's where you learn a lot more about Hugh, because part of the magic that is there with Hugh is he was a soldier. When he's brought back by his brother, he's like I said, the drunk, womanizing gambler. Well, he was a soldier with a group called the Lost Reavers that were wiped out to the last man being Hugh. And it turns out that he'd only been with the unit for about a year, and they were a pretty legendary unit that their primary thing was killing Fae. And killing the fairies and the satyrs, how are they pronounced? Satyrs? I always pronounce it satire. They're killing all the different forms of Fae. And he had some moral issues with some things that were going on. So basically he almost betrayed or disobeyed orders, and it led to the entire unit being wiped out. And he was cursed by the Fae that that they were killing, by the main Fae, the Fae boss, basically. He was cursed, and all the Lost Reavers, basically their souls reside within him. Oh. And what that means is that they can kill him at any time. At any time, they can decide, you know what, you're dead, and he's just going to fall over. He's going to keel over. The only reason he is alive is because he had sworn to the Reavers that he was going to kill the Queen of the Fae and all the rest of the Fae. And every time it looks like he's drifting off on that, he ends up having a little chat with the Reavers and gets threatened quite a bit. But what makes him so unique and able to do the things he did in the first book is that he can summon them. He summons their souls, and he gains their strength, whatever it may be. In some cases, it was just their physical strength. In some cases, it was their speed. In some cases, it was their swordsmanship, or ability with knives, or agility. But the more he summons, the stronger he gets, because he's got them all. It can injure his body, because he does, kind of fill up, I suppose. But so that's how he's able to hold his own against, say, a Fae that's 5 times as strong as a normal human being. He summons the 4 strongest Reavers. He summons the 4 strongest Reavers. And same way he's able to keep up with them when they fight, because he can summon, theoretically enough, Now, of course, he's got his other cast of characters, including one Fae that is on his side from the first book, that is one of his lovers.
Huh.
And then he's got another one that's a little...
Mew.
and she almost kills him, and even with all the Reavers riding him, because she is what they call an exemplar of a god, which means that as a child, usually it's in their teenage years, they're taken over, they get almost possessed by a god. They're not quite a paladin of them, but kind of. And some of them are exemplars of, you know, good gods or more mainstream gods, and kind of are paladins. There's actually scary paladins. There's actually one of the major plot points is the group that will come searching for certain Fae and for certain people that might be straying from the Empire's rules and such. They'll send these people that are all exemplars of God, of this particular god, almost like the god of justice. So if you just imagine, you know, lawful evil paladins of the god of justice, what that kind of organization would do.
Oh.
Exactly. So, however, the younger that they are possessed, the generally the more powerful they are, especially if they have not been able to reconcile the two sides, they can just be completely taken over at times. And this character, she became an exemplar at around 5.
Oh, wow.
And
I
it's
can imagine.
the most evil, most twisted, most deadly of all the gods. I think it's called the Hanged God or something along those lines. But yeah, she's basically possessed by Tiamat in a way. So,
Oh.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's and of course he's got the leader of the bandits that he had taken back into his service as soldiers. She's also one of his
Lovers.
women. Unlike some of the Haremlit books, though, this is actually the first one that takes the adult situations, and at least in one case, is actually not central to the plot, but actually part of the plot. Actually has plot devices and plot reasons for it. Some of the other ones, they're just the interludes, and I tend to skip past a lot of those because the book is so good. I want to get to the rest of the plot. But one of them, the one that's a little to actually learn to control the god that actually includes those situations in a way. It's hard to explain without giving away spoilers about it, but it actually does end up being somewhat part of the plot. The writing style, the Lost Reavers, Mike Truk, he writes this in definitely a fantasy, and I don't want to say high fantasy, more of a low fantasy type of writing style. I mean, the characters they have their codes that they go by. They're all different codes, but they have their codes that they go by, and the characters are not perfect in any way, shape, or form. But they stick to their ideals. They stick to their stick to their guns. They stick to the swords. They stick to their knives.
They stick to their death implements.
And they stick to their death implements. And they all make sense. They all make sense. The characters are well written. They make sense. And Hugh is definitely well written as a sympathetic character. You know, he's definitely dangerous. He's definitely a killer, for sure. And he has no problems making those threats or using the violence or killing someone when necessary. But at the same time, he doesn't want to be that. He doesn't want to kill innocents, and he wants to figure out ways to save as many people as he can. The problem is, he wants to save the innocent Fae, whereas he's already sworn that he will kill all the Fae, or the Reavers are going to take his soul, and he will just keel over. So he has to walk that balance. Now, just imagine trying to negotiate and say, I don't want to kill all your people. Meanwhile, you've got 30 souls residing in you that can hear what you're saying that you'd sworn you would. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty amusing, and it's pretty funny how things progress. The only downside that I give the book plot wise is to continue the book and continue the series, and I will read the next one and review it for you guys. The plot device that enables him to hold the Reavers back is a little Deus Ex Machina. It's a little too convenient and a little too come on now. But the plus side of it, though, is that it changes the dynamic because when he does have this ability to hold the Reavers back, they're held the F back, which means that when he suddenly needs 3 more people's strength, it ain't there.
Oh.
So, while I do find it a little convenient how he's able to survive doing some of the things he does and hold the Reavers back, at the same time, it actually has a big effect on him and probably going to have a big effect on him in the future as well. And they really start to hint at how he's got probably a very grand destiny ahead of him, and how this curse that he is holding was actually supposed to have been a blessing but was interrupted. So it's pretty fascinating, and I will read book 3 and definitely share it with you guys. So if you like fantasy and interesting kind of fantasy, and you like the hey kind of books, check it out. Check out Mike Truk's Lost Reavers. Book 2 was excellent. After you hit the like and subscribe buttons, go check it out.
Do it for the puppy.
Do it for yourself too. Really good book.
All right.
We'll catch you next time. Bye now.
Bye.